What is going on, fam? Welcome to a brand new video. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering your most burning questions when it comes to social media video, strategy, and personal branding. Here we go. So first question that I have is, what exactly is your process? So I'm assuming that this question relates to my media agency that I run called Praise Media. And basically what we do and what we represent is that we are your growth partner. So we're going to handle every part of the content creation process from ideation to implementing it and executing that specific strategy. We help you come up with the idea, we help script it, we film it, we edit it, and we help post it on social media platforms as well. Also, we just added a new service where it's more paid ads with AI systems. So we're going to help build out a specific CRM for your business so you can keep track of all the leads and also help you create more lead magnets and more opportunities to gain more business and qualified leads for your business. Basically, how our overall process works is that if you're a brand new client and you jump on the Praise Media family, we issue you something called an onboarding form where we ask you a crap load of questions about yourself, your brand, your business, things of that nature. And that's really going to help our research team come up with the initial ideas for our first shoot. The next thing that we do is that our research team works together in coming up with unique ideas that are very specific to your brand. So if you watch prior videos in the past, I talk about how important it is to have a clear-cut strategy on who you're talking to. And so with the research in combination of the onboarding questions we ask you, of the trending research on and off platform, we developed something called an ideal video viewer. That's going to be your specific avatar of who we're trying to attract with your video content. And then from there, we basically come up with our first initial idea list. From there, we do schedule our in-person shoot. That's something that really helps separate us from other media agencies, is that we do the in-person filming. So whether it be like at your office or anywhere on location, we come to you and we film the content that we have planned out. And what's also great about the in-person filming is not only are you not liable to rent your own equipment or lighting or audio things and stuff like that, but we also include directing and coaching. Doing it for the past few years, we definitely know the hacks and tips on how to be comfortable in front of the camera and also bringing out the best side of you when it comes to your personality. From there, we also have an editing team that basically takes our raw footage, they cut it into shorts or long form content depending on what the strategy is. We're really comfortable in knowing the type of styles that are really going to capture one's attention. From there, our social media management team is going to optimize and then post. So there's usually two platforms that we focus on: Instagram and YouTube. I will say Facebook as well, because it's like hand in hand with Instagram, especially when you have a business account for each, because usually when you post on Instagram, you can automatically post on Facebook. So technically it's three platforms, but we optimize for two. Our paid advertising service, we're going to help you come up with the copy. We're going to help you generate the idea that's specific to this type of paid advertising. And we basically have a team that runs the ads for you. And the key here is really experimenting on different types of variations, the types when it comes to copy and also the type of content that we're doing. So whether it be IG DM ads or lead form ads. So right now, like a full host of this I guess you can call it like a done for you social media system is in high demand right now, because there's a lot of business owners out there that are super busy. They're working on growing their teams, attending events, doing other things that are not like social media related. So having a system like this and a team that can just help them build out something that's going to help them generate more business and get more visibility is super valuable. Okay, so next question I have is, what gets the most interaction? So I'm assuming that this is, the type of content. So it's really going to depend on what type of niche you represent, right? And there's usually like two ways to get more interaction, whether it be doing like trending content or doing content that's going to be in front of the right people. You have interaction that's more viral friendly, so you're going to get like a huge majority of people, whether it be like your ideal client or viewer or not. Also, you have interaction with the specific people that you want to see your content. At the end of the day, it really depends on like what your goals are as a business or brand? Do you just want to become famous and get just a ton of views and followers? Or do you want to position your content in front of the right viewers and the right eyeballs? When you do that type of positioning, as far as being in front of the right people, you're really shortening the time between when they're going to become a warm lead to when they're actually going to become a client of yours. There's a lot of media agency owners out there that preach, dude, you need to get views, you need to get followers, you need to be able to just do a lot of general content that's going to get a lot more eyeballs, which I definitely see the benefit of doing that. But at the same time, I know that time is of the essence for the business owner. They want to see results immediately. And so it's super key to be clear on who you want to attract with your video content. And when you get those right eyeballs on your content right off the bat, again, you're going to shorten that overall sales process. All right. So, oh, hey, say hi, Timbre. Say hi. So next question we have is, how do I come up with new ideas every week? So I just literally answered this question in my prior video, so make sure you check that out. But the condensed answer to this is that there's a new school way of coming up with new video ideas. And that's first, you want to develop the ideal video viewer. So this is exactly who your ideal avatar is on who you're trying to attract with your content. Because I've learned is that the more specific and clear that you are with your content creation journey on who you're talking to, it's gonna be a lot easier to position your content in front of the right people. Right now, we're relying heavily on creating a custom chat GPT. And so what we do is that we upload tons of files, viral scripts, books, PDFs that are everything that's related to short form content. And on top of that, the ideal video viewer profile that we create for our client, and also additional info about the client. So whether it be if they wrote a book or they wrote like an online PDF that they've already like promoted in the past, website articles, blogs, things of that nature that we can add to the GPT. And then from there, we put in specific prompts that's gonna pump out ideas that we can outline and then full flesh them out as scripts. This custom GPT is super powerful because it's going to give you a variety of ways to package content, because it's super important to know that with every piece of content that you're putting out there, you have to assume that people do not know who you are, even your followers. So you're going to be constantly repeating yourself. So it's super key to constantly repackage ideas or types of things that you stand for in a more unique way every time. The question, what if I'm not a natural speaker? So this is a pretty common question I get, especially with new people that I work with. It's really important to, one, be super comfortable with yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, but like you just have to really reflect on what your biggest insecurities are and just accept them that it's there. I saw an interview with Tom Cruise. I went to see Mission Impossible, which is amazing, by the way. He was doing an interview with somebody. I totally forgot who it was with, but basically they were just asking, like, what advice do you have for, aspiring actors and things of that nature? And he was basically saying, you cannot be afraid to be afraid. And what I got from that is that it's okay to have the fear there. You just have to embrace it, accept it, and just keep pushing forward anyways. And so that's kind of the same thing like with your insecurities. You can accept them that it's there. You embrace them. You just acknowledge it, but you're still going to do it anyways. Also, a huge lesson that like my acting teacher taught me when I was in Hollywood is that you cannot be afraid to make a fool of yourself. You cannot be afraid to look stupid or look bad or just look off, especially in front of the camera, because once you abandon that fear, there's going to be the sense of freedom that you're going to get, and you're just going to sound more and more natural on camera. In addition to that, putting the reps in is super key as well. So like, for example, building that muscle, right? Especially like, I'll do a fitness analogy. Like you want to lose weight, you want to go on a program, you want to be able to develop those reps. And the more times you go to the gym, the more times that you're committed to the specific program, the more progress you're going to make. Also, what I would suggest is taking a public speaking course. There's a study out there that basically says that public speaking is the top fear for humans. So personally, I believe that public speaking is a super valuable skill. It really gives you that courage of being able to be in any type of environment and speaking in front of people, whether it be 10 people or 1,000 people. So to recap, embrace your fears and insecurities, take a public speaking course, and put the reps in. So just took a little break, actually stopped by Super Supplements to pick up a new energy drink that I've been wanting to taste for quite some time. So this is 3D Energy. This is by Christian Guzman. He also owns an energy drink company that's basically re-releasing 4 flavors. So this is the Liberty Pop flavor, and I have to tell you, this is super good. Like, the smell, no chemicals at all. Like, it just has like that popsicle vibe. Like, you know, when we were kids, we used to chase like the ice cream trucks. We used to get like the firecracker ice cream like during 4th of July and stuff like that. Brings back all those memories of smelling it, man. But the taste is super clean. Dude, this is bombs. I just got a box of the Liberty Pop. We're gonna knock those out and then just come back to Vitamin Shop and get some more. The next social media question that we had is, what is the best way to get started? So I probably get this question 20 times a week on just how to get started with video content. The biggest thing that you need to get started is just having the content creation muscle. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of people, they worry about the equipment, they worry about what they're going to talk about, they worry about scripting, they worry about just all these things that don't really matter at the end of the day. What really matters is that you just get started. That's the thing. I mean, every creator is going to say that. It's just, you want to press record, you just want to build that muscle. You know, you need to just start creating that consistency, which is huge. Any new content creator that I'm working with, the most important thing is, one, to establish a film schedule. You wanted to establish a time, whether it be 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. You want to physically write it or type it into your calendar, because more times than not, when you write a specific task into your calendar, there's like a study out there that says like 80 or 90% of the time you're going to do it. At the same time, you want to start practicing, and the best way to start practicing is using your phone. Start filming stories. So if you have an Instagram account, you know, posting a story, so talking to the camera, giving tips, talk about something that inspires you for the day, talk about your day, talk about what you're up to. Just really start practicing talking into your camera. And what's going to happen is that the more you do it, even if you dedicate 10 to 30 minutes a day doing it, it's just going to build that muscle. And when you start just sniper focusing in with your content, it's just going to be seamless as far as like being comfortable from the camera and just making the process as efficient as possible. So those are the things that I would do. 1, write down physically, okay, I'm going to dedicate every Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. on creating content, whether it be, you know, scripting first and then filming it, or just filming it off the cuff and just practicing or whatever. And then every day for 10 minutes a day, I'm just going to speak into my camera and just practice. And then when you establish that consistency, it's just going to compound over months on end, and you're going to be able to establish huge momentum moving forward. Let's answer another question, and that deals with, how do you know what your ROI is when creating content? So that's another common question I get quite a bit. And it's kind of a hard question to answer. And the reason being is that obviously with organic content, you're posting content and you really can't be like, okay, I'm paying like, you know, $500 a month or whatever on equipment, things like that. If I'm hiring out a team or an editor or something like that, and I'm getting this X amount of deals from it. So it's really hard to correlate that cost because it's just organic content. Obviously, organic content is super powerful if you do it right. Paid ads is differently. Paid ads, you can actually be like, okay, I'm gonna put, you know, $20 a day on this meta ad and just see how many leads come in, and then from there I can decide, okay, this is how much a lead costs to me. When I was starting out with Praise Media, we were purely 100% organic content. So we would just go all in on the strategy, being clear on who we're talking to, and just use organic content to bring in leads. When you go the organic route, it is gonna take a little bit longer. And the reason being is that, you know, with the algorithm, things of that nature, it just takes time to create momentum and just getting your face out there. Obviously, there's outliers. You know, there's people that post like 2 videos and they just go ultra viral and they just, you know, they're overnight success. But on average, for the most part, depending on the platform, you're looking anywhere between like 90 days to maybe like 12 months before you even really see anything. And that's why, you know, a lot of creators that are out there, they even say like, you need to do 2 things. 1, you need to look at social media content as an additional marketing arm to your business. And at the same time, you also cannot rely, put all your eggs into that basket as far as social media goes. It needs to be like an amplifier to what you're doing. So cold outreach, warm outreach, attending networking events, running workshops, what have you. Social media is the amplifier to all of that. Obviously, when you do it right, social media content can just overshadow all those other things that you're doing. But for the most part, starting out especially, it needs to be looked at as an additional arm to what you're doing marketing wise for your business and for your brand. All right, switching gears here. Next question. What's something you used to believe about content that you no longer do? Wow, super powerful questions. I would say that when I first started out, that you had to shoot like super crisp, high quality, all these fancy effects, things like that with video. Now it's all about how you craft the content and how you tell stories. I think one of the biggest movements that's going on right now is that a lot of creators are starting to get a lot more personable with their content. They're telling stories, their journey, how they got started, how they went from A to Z. And I'm implementing a lot of that into my clients' content as well, especially when it comes to testimonials and sharing client wins. What's powerful about stories is that it's going to raise emotions. When you raise specific types of emotions, that's going to create more of a stronger connection with you and with your brand. I think creating higher quality content is called for at times, depending on the goal of the content and just what type of emotion you want the person to feel. You have a lot of creators out there that are shooting a lot of raw content, green screen content, with the article stuff in the background, that's just crushing it right now. Another question is, who are your favorite creators right now? So I would say for the most part, I'm kind of going to split this up because usually the people that I follow are going to be like golfers, fitness people in my niche, or like social media strategy and stuff like that. So I'll just give you kind of a few that I feel that are just killing it right now. Without any specific order, I would say like Christian Guzman. I know he's been in the game for quite some time, but lately he's been amping up the short form content. And it's just been really, really engaging. So he's been sharing mainly like his journey with fitness, with business, showing behind the scenes of like creating his energy drink, which I just showed earlier, and also his clothing brand called Alpha Elite. And then also his fitness journey. He's just on a huge cut right now. And it's just super interesting just seeing his day-to-day. What's great about his content strategy is that he keeps it super simple. I mean, he just shows B-roll of his day and then he does a voice over it. Another person that's crushing it, in my opinion, right now is Ashton Hall. I'm actually going to do a long-form YouTube video coming soon on this channel, just dissecting his strategy. And that type of growth is just, it's an outlier, man. It's just super crazy how just something as simple as showing a day in a life just catches wildfire, and he just became this global sensation overnight. Rico Incarnati, he's like kind of in my space. He does a lot of social media strategy. He's been crushing it. He's been posting a lot more consistently, which I love. I had a pleasure to meet him last year, and he gave me a really good advice with my brand, and he's one of the reasons why I've been posting consistently about, my brand and the company for the past year. Next question I get a lot is, what is the breed of this beautiful baby here? So this is Timbre, if you don't know so already. Hey Timbre, say hi. She's a little shy, but she is a half Maltese, half poodle. So I think it's 50-50, but anyways, when we got her, we wanted her to be hypoallergenic, so they're suggesting a poodle, and she's just so adorable. Look, she's like 10 months. This is the biggest she's gonna get. That's crazy. But she's like about 9.5 pounds. She is a very good dog. We had a great breeder. They basically, when she was born, they potty trained her for a little bit for like 8 weeks, and then we got her at about 2 months. She's super easy to take care of, a lot easier than I thought, and I could not be happier to have her in the family. Another question is, how do I turn my followers into clients? So that is like the biggest question, right? The biggest thing to understand is that you have to continue to provide value. And that's not just like with video content, but you have to have multiple touch points. Organic video content, paid ads, lead magnets, freebies, the list goes on and on. You want to have a multitude of ways to touch the client, because that specific touch point may be the end all be all of them purchasing your service or product. Essentially what you want to do is you want to have a system that's going to, one, produce organic content. 2, have paid ads that's going to run retargeting ads or run ads towards those specific people who are already watching your videos. 3, you want to be able to provide some type of lead magnet. So it can be a PDF, it can be a webinar, it can be some type of, depending on the industry you're in, like a calculator of some sort, something that you can, that's tangible, that's going to be very valuable for them to use. Also freebies. So again, this can be another PDF, this can be like a one-on-one 15-minute call. And you want to make the freebie extremely valuable because you, at the end of the day, you want them to think, man, if I'm getting this type of value for free, I can't even imagine what type of value I'm going to get when I start paying this person. And then also, you know, you have email drip campaigns as well. So you want to be able to get this whole machine going at the same time. Even though video content is a huge important piece of that puzzle, you also want to have these other things working on the wayside as well to just fully amplify those multiple touch points for those people. And another free plug, Praise Media builds that whole content system for you. So check us out. All right, my fam, that is the video for today. If you enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe. And also hit me down with more questions down in the comments. I love doing these Q&As every once in a while, so I'll be sure to save those questions for future videos. Other than that, hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay praised. All right, that is